All right, guys, a toast to this episode of the Modern Goonies podcast.
Here we go. Clink, clink.
Clank. All right, guys, hello and welcome to another episode of the Modern Goonies podcast. I'm your host, Trevor King Minor. On the mic today, I've got my good friend, Michael Ross.
Hey, guys, I'm Michael Ross.
And I've got my good friend, Chandler.
How's it going?
Okay, so if you haven't seen the other episodes, the last week we talked about, it was a movie review, and we talked about Midsummer along with a lot of other horror movies and just the music industry in general. But for now, it's just a regular episode. I think this is technically the 5th episode that we've recorded, so just going to go right into it. We were talking about some stories that we had before, so I think we're just going to hop right into that. So which one do we want to talk about first? We want to talk about the wine one or the wasp one?
I want to talk about the wasp one.
Okay, go ahead. Who's going first?
I'll go first.
Michael.
Okay.
So this is something that I'm particularly proud of. Not the preface to the story. So I was playing RuneScape, right? And I was sitting at my computer. And whenever I play any sort of game at 2 p.m. when nobody else is in the house, I like to keep one single lamp on in the room to save electricity. And for some reason, there was a wasp in the house. And it went to this lamp. And so I shut it off, and the wasp stopped moving. And I thought, holy shit, I can control the wasp with light. I turned it on, the wasp was active. I turned the lamp off. The wasp was dormant because the house was dark. And I thought, God damn, I'm going to go turn on our hallway light to drag the wasp over there. So I turn on the hallway light, and sure as shit, the wasp goes towards the hallway. And I'm like, dude, this is right next to the door. I could get this out without killing it because, in case you didn't know, I am absolutely terrified of wasps. They scare the shit out of me. And so I turn on the hallway light. I turn it off when the wasp is in the light. And then I open the door because there's light outside. And all of a sudden, I see a wasp cross the doorway. And I'm like, no. If you come in here, I will kill myself. And, you know, I guess I psychically communicated with the wasp, the other wasp, wasp number 2. And it didn't enter the house. And wasp number 1, also through telekinesis, seemed to leave. And so I shut the door, I locked it as though a wasp would know how to unlock my door. And I celebrated by turning on the lights.
What a story.
Wasp number 2.
You should have just named them.
Wasp 1 and Wasp 2, dude.
No.
Like Dr. Seuss, thing 1, thing 2, Cat in the Hat.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the part you were going to tell? Whenever we had like all those wasps outside on the fucking, on all the railings and shit.
When me and John came back from grocery shopping and we were gonna like throw a shoe at like the nest to like knock it down, and it had to be a dual team effort or someone was just gonna get mauled to death by wasps because there was like 50 of them. And John's like trying to throw the shoe at it and he keeps missing, and he's like down low like trying to grab it and like throw it underhand, and I'm above him like with the fly swatter just like flailing like as crazy as I could be, like just trying to like defend him. And he like keeps throwing, he's like fuck, picks up the shoe, fuck. I'm just over there. I'm like, just keep going. I'll protect you. And it took like 5 minutes to knock this fucking wasp nest down. And then when we finally did, like, I went back inside and I did the same thing. Like, I locked the door. I was like, they're definitely not getting in now.
Oh my god. Yeah. So a couple days later, I had gone outside and I was doing something and I needed my shoes, and so I go to pick it up. And this was the one time I noticed that there was like wasp nests outside. So I'm kind of like looking around, like, damn, there's a lot of fucking wasp nests. And so I pick up my shoe. And when I pick up my shoe, a fucking wasp nest falls out of it. Like, out of the shoe, onto the ground. I thought I was going to have a stroke. I fucking, like, dropped the shoe. I, like, got back super far, and I was like, oh, fuck. And then nothing happened, and I'm like, did wasp make a nest in my shoe and just, like, leave it? What the hell?
Nope, we threw your shoe at the wasp nest.
Scared.
I forgot about that, honestly.
Scared the fuck out of me. I thought I was going to have a heart attack.
Is there a point for wasps? Like, isn't it, like, a scientifically like proven thing that mosquitoes like have like no like beneficial purposes?
Yeah, apparently you could wipe them all out and it wouldn't really cause too much damage to any ecosystems. However, wasps they actually do pollinate things, and they kill a lot of like promiscuous insects. I think like
promiscuous.
Yeah, a bunch of insects just trying to fuck your shit up. No,
You're talking about pervasive?
No, but just like I don't know, like they killed spiders and other small like creatures that would just
The
overwhelm.
only promiscuous spiders.
Yeah, spiders that are just trying to get their nuts off the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So apparently there's actually somewhat of a point to them, even though I fucking hate wasps.
Dude, they're just big, angry bug tanks.
I'm like you. I feel like I'm terrified of wasps. I like anything that flies and stings. I'm like, fuck this. I'm out.
If it looks and sounds like a wasp, like those dirt daubers,
Yeah.
I'm afraid of them, even though dirt daubers are harmless. I don't know what the actual name of a dirt dauber
Actually,
is,
they'll
but-
sting you.
Oh, they will?
Yeah, you have to like really piss them off though. But yeah, no, they can sting you.
Well, now I'm afraid of those officially.
Yeah.
Let this be known.
Yeah, they're much more temperamental though. Like they'll land on you and walk around and they won't do anything. Where a wasp is like, as soon as I make contact with that motherfucker, I'm stabbing him. Like that's.
I've never been like afraid of wasps. Like anytime like one's gotten near me, I just try and hit it with my hand.
No, I've always like actively avoided trying to get stung by a wasp.
Well, I mean, I'm not seeking it out, but
Of course.
never sends me into a state of panic.
Well, I would never hit one with my hand. I would just like fucking run away.
Yeah, like if you hit it with your hand, you're asking to get stung.
Yeah.
Because wasps are just angry.
Isn't it wasps that when they sting you, they die?
No, that's
that's a
bees.
bee.
Wasps can repeatedly sting you.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I went, I think about 17 years before I ever got stung by anything. Zach, you can just walk in front of the camera. Zach is crawling under the camera right now. I went 17 years without getting stung by like anything because I actively avoided it. And the one time I did, it was by a bee, and I was really pissed off about it because we were riding four-wheelers on one of the back roads over there by my grandmother's house, and so we're
Was I there?
he's crawling again. What's up, Zach? No, yeah, you were. Yeah, it was with Spindle, and yeah, so we're on the four-wheelers on the back road, and all of a sudden, like, I'm going fast, and something just whacks me in the face, and I'm like, oh, that hurt, and then all of a sudden, it just like burned like super bad, and I'm like, what the fuck? So a bee had hit me on the four-wheeler and like reactively just stung me right in the temple, and yeah, that hurt like a bitch. I had like a splitting headache for a while because of that. Like it, yeah. And it sucks because I couldn't avoid that one. It was just like an unfortunate circumstance. A fucking bee was flying at the same time I'm going like 50 miles an hour on a four-wheeler. So
Yep.
every time I've been stung by like a bee or a wasp, like it doesn't like piss me off a whole. Like I'm just like, it kind of hurts, and I just kind of forget about it. I think I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but every time like I've been stung, I'm just like, like that doesn't feel good. Oh well.
that was the only
And
time
I
I
just,
had ever
like,
been
move
stung.
on.
So I mean, I guess I don't really have too much of a frame of reference. But I also never knew if I was like allergic to them or not, right? Because like Dewey, my next door neighbor, he's like deathly allergic to it's either bees or wasps. I mean, if they sting him, like they need to take him to a hospital. So I'm like, well, I hope that's not me, and I wouldn't know because I've never been stung. My mom had never been stung, like in her whole 43 years of life. So I'm like, I don't know if my mom's allergic either. So I mean, shit, one of them just stings me one day, and I'm dead on the floor.
Well, can't they tell that like whenever you're getting like tests, like whenever you're younger, maybe, or like can't you get tested for allergies?
You can.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think I
but
ever
not
did anything
everybody
like
does that.
Yeah.
I feel like you should, because that's like something that's like, I mean, if you like just grow up and you've never eaten like peanuts before or something, you just don't know you have like a horrible peanut allergy,
Yeah.
and then you just don't have an EpiPen and you're dead.
Yeah, that's life. That's
Well,
that's life.
it's easily avoidable.
So I guess I'm just gonna say
Test.
at this point, if you were having a child and you don't want that child to have peanut allergies, give your child peanuts during their first years of life.
Don't get them vaccinated.
Yeah.
No, get them vaccinated.
No, don't
as
do
well.
it.
Okay. I don't want this to become an anti-vax podcast.
It won't,
So-
but yeah.
Disregard the anti-vaccination
The earth is flat.
message and that.
Do you feel like the vaccination movement has slowed down a bit? Because I really don't see like as much about it anymore, like, as much hubbub.
No, because I remember not too long ago, I went to just a general practitioner there in Quinlan. And like Quinlan of all places, and so we were just kind of
The one like right by the emergency.
the PCA,
Yeah.
the PCA right there in Quinlan. And so I was talking to my doctor, and it's just kind of like awkward because I had like a wart on my foot. She's like freezing it off, so I just like was bullshitting with her. And I was like, "You guys ever have any problems with anti-vaxxers?" It's just like a random as fuck question. She's like, "Oh yeah, all the time." And I'm like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, it's all these damn millennial parents thinking that they're so hipster now to not get their kids vaccinated." She kind of went on it. She was clearly very angry about it. And yeah, she was just kind of talking to me that apparently there's a lot of parents who are like, now it's like, oh, I read this article, I'm not vaccinating my kids. And yeah.
God, it's just the stupidest thing.
Yeah.
I agree.
I can't really even wrap my head around it. There's like no justification for doing it besides just doing it.
Right. Well, we've talked about Kyrgyzstan before when we did the science podcast, and super infographic type channel on YouTube. They explain a lot about how the world works. And I remember one of the ones that they did was on anti-vaxxers, and so I think one of the arguments that people make a lot for vaccinating your kids is that, like, oh well, if I don't vaccinate my kid, having them have measles is better than having them have this like crazy autoimmune, reaction to it, or what, you're having them have autism. So then they did, by like all the statistical analysis that they had, and they're like, all right. And so basically what it boiled down to is that, like, okay, yeah, 1 in every like fucking several million people might have this adverse reaction to it. Whereas like shitloads of people get the measles, and like more people will die from that because what is it? I can't remember. Something with like early development in measles, it can cause death in several cases. So it's like you still statistically more people.
Your immune system's just not as strong.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, that's what it was. It was something about your immune system is like compromised because of the measles. So even if it's like, oh yeah, the measles aren't all that bad, it's not the measles you necessarily have to worry about. It's other diseases that you wouldn't necessarily have to worry about that they would contract because their immune system is compromised because of the measles. Right. So actually what happens is a lot more kids die because of that. And it's clearly like, we're talking, what is it? I don't know. I can't think of the word. But yeah, clearly a lot better for you to just have your kids vaccinated. And like, yeah, maybe one ever out of a couple million might have like autism or something really fucking weird, but that's a lot better than having like thousands of people die because of some easily avoidable disease.
Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a while since I've taken like general science, but isn't autism like you can't contract that after you're born? Like it's it's from your chromosomes, like it's at like the conception, like when you're being
like you're born with autism.
Yeah, you can't.
I thought it could develop like in early childhood, because I could have swore they did like some kind of study about kids that they put in rooms that had like absolutely no color, and they wouldn't let like parents touch them, or like they wouldn't let them have like too much physical contact with other like adults. And I think like the data showed that those kids that in those experiments developed autism at a much higher rate than.
But could it be like a different type of like a social autism?
See, I don't know that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it enough to tell you one way or the other.
But like basic like autism, if I'm not mistaken, is like an extra like certain chromosome, correct? Or like
I'm not sure.
What you're talking about sounds like Down syndrome, trisomy 21, where you have 3 chromosomes on your 21st pair.
Okay, that could be it then. I could be getting the two confused.
Good old Google.
Regardless, the chances of your child contracting some sort of horrible disease or like any kind of deficiency from getting vaccinations is just completely like it's such a high percentage. It's like winning the lottery, but negative effects, obviously.
Yeah, losing the lottery. But
well,
I mean,
I'm talking like percentage wise.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Not in rewards necessarily. Whenever I see like a measles outbreak, though, like that shit scares me. Like, there's not a lot that like freaks me out. Most stuff I see, I'm just like, ugh. I'm like, yeah, that's shitty or something. But when I see like cases of like measles like breaking out, there was a few like pretty close to us. Like, I don't remember if there was one in Dallas, but there was a few like in like the surrounding like DFW areas, and I don't think. We can't. I mean, we can't contract measles, but I mean,
that doesn't mean people around us can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, why would we open back up a disease that we have virtually eradicated? I just don't see where people can get the argument to think it's okay.
I just want to take this time to say, if you subscribe to anti-vaccination rhetoric and you are an anti-vaccinator, you need to vaccinate your children because you're putting lives at risk.
Not only your child's,
but those who can't get vaccinated. And quite frankly, you're being very reckless. I hope that you're punished by the full extent of the law, where applicable.
Oh my God.
And I hope you learn your lesson, because the data shows that vaccinations are effectively safe.
So here's the thing, Michael. Those people you just talked to right now don't give a shit.
I don't care.
Like that's the thing. Like the people who have half a brain cell know that, okay, you need to vaccinate your children. The people who don't aren't going to listen to like someone being like, hey, like do it, because they base their opinion off of like one study that this guy did, who they have repeatedly proven was false in every metric. But just because of that dumb bullshit was like, well, no, I heard this, and that's
I read something online, so it has to be true.
Yeah, like I've always heard this, so this is my opinion. Those kind of people just can't be reasoned with.
You know, that reminds me of something that I saw on Facebook a few months ago. You might remember it. You might not.
Okay.
I can't remember. Or I don't know. But somebody that's moderately associated with us posted some anti-vaccination celebrity. Like, this person was touting anti-vaxism.
Oh.
I guess I would call it.
Yeah.
And then one of our, I guess not our, but one of our friends supported that and eventually said that a active ingredient in vaccinations called thimerosal, or, you know, it's got two different accepted pronunciations, but thimerosal is the primary ingredient. They said that the thimerosal was not safe, and so I started to look up studies. I started to find peer-reviewed journals, and this person, the anti-vaccinator, was just telling me that I was wrong. And eventually I just said, hey, unless you give me studies and sources that I can actually believe, everything that you tell me is just an opinion, and I'm going to take it as that. And so this person eventually gave me some sources, and so I went through these sources, looked at their sources, and the sources that this person used were just cherry picking at just a few sentences in every research article that I read.
I feel like that's how a lot of people like to do their half-assed research, is just like they find, like, they'll just Google like why anti-vaxxing is legitimate or something. They'll click on like the first article and they just like skim through it, like won't even read it, and just like send you that. Like, nobody does due diligence like at all anymore.
Yeah. I can't stand that shit, because like if I'm looking for something, because I like to be like well informed on my opinion, and yeah, so like when I Google something and it looks like it's not coming from a reputable source, or I've never heard this before, or it's clearly biased one way, or like the title is like, oh yeah, God's for anti-vaxxers. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to A, read this, or B, like put really any thought into this, because this is horseshit. But yeah, a lot of people don't do that. Like you said, they'll just go right in to the first thing that agrees with their opinion. Like, oh, look, I was right. It's like, okay, yeah, well, here's like 5 other reasons why this guy's wrong. So
yeah,
I feel like it's people, they form their own opinion with like little to no research, and then when they do try to find some justification for that research, as soon as like they see, like, it could be like an article that just for anti-vaxxing, like it could be like against it or something, like as like the whole article, but like the first sentence that they see, it could slightly prove their point in their own mind, and that's like the justification for it, and they just automatically assume that it's okay at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It came
like,
out kind of
the first thing that validates your
stumbly.
opinion makes you correct.
Right, like people don't go into it saying like, I don't know if it works or not. Let me do some research and read a few articles and then gather my own opinion. Like, they already have their opinion, and they're looking to find an article that will validate their own opinion.
Yeah.
It's like the complete opposite of how you research things.
Exactly.
Yeah, my biggest issue with that kind of thing is a lot of people with their own opinions, they, you know, everyone's got an ego, right? Like, who the fuck wants to be wrong about something? No one wants to be wrong. Like, you hope that you are smart. Everyone thinks they're smart. So, like, you hope that your opinion is the correct one. And so, yeah, people will just jump on the first thing that they see that, like you guys said, validates that, because, I mean, they don't want to be wrong. And a lot of people aren't willing to admit when they're wrong. So even if they do find an article that is completely conflicting with what they're saying, they'll just disregard it, like, a hack wrote this, or like, I'm sure there's like 5 others that say the opposite, because like they don't want to be wrong. Whereas like my thing is like, look, I'm not gonna with certainty really say anything. I don't take like I am right about this approach really ever, because I'm very willing to change my mind about things. And I don't want to go in being like, no, like you're wrong. I'm like, okay, well, I'll read about it. But a lot of people with their opinion, they take it as like an attack on them. Like, oh, are you saying I'm stupid? Even though they're not like saying that, that's what their actions tell whenever they're giving their opinion. How
aggressive they get.
Yeah,
in responding.
It's like, well, I'm right about this. It's like, I'm not like arguing with you. I'm just like
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just giving you an opposing viewpoint,
or like this thing that I saw that said something different. It's like, okay, well, what about that? Like, if you're right, well, why did I see this thing or whatnot? And then like you talk about it. But a lot of people, they're like, yeah, they take that as kind of like an attack, and then people get heated about it, and it turns into this whole debacle rather than just like, because it's funny because like sometimes I'm the dude with the phone in my hand. Like every time somebody's having an argument, like one of our friends in the friend group's having an argument, and I'm just like pulling it up and I'm reading about it. I'm like, okay, well, who's right? Like, is there somebody right in the situation? Because like I don't care about who's right. I care about like what the truth is. So I mean, if the truth is not my viewpoint, then I'm like, you know what? You're right. I'm sorry. I was wrong. Like that's. But a lot of people are just hell bent on their ego trip. They don't want to admit that.
I feel like there's two different like ways you can look at that too, because if it's like a pure like opinion thing, like it's really open to interpretation, like morality like issues or things like that, then it's hard to try and sway someone if they're like set in their own ways. But
well, there also is no technical right or wrong on those either.
But with things like anti-vaccine, like it's not a morality thing, like it's scientifically proven to work one way, and whenever someone just tries to counter what is fact and what isn't, that's when I get not pissed off, but that's what irks me the most, really. It's just like, well, that's just not true. I'm like, it is true. It is science. I mean, you just can't argue with facts. I hate people that do that. It grinds my gears.
When it comes to arguing with people like that, I have taken the approach to not even say what I think, but to look up peer-reviewed journals. Am I too close to the mic?
You're good.
Okay. Cool. Just making sure.
Peer review.
Yeah. I've taken the approach to look up peer-reviewed journals. Thank you. And I use facts from the journals that I find that are all present. Like, I don't use one peer-reviewed journal. I used 3 with the person that I was talking about.
There you go, sir.
Thank you.
No problemo.
About the anti-vaccination campaign. And, you know, of the 3, there were some pretty significant lineups, like things that all of them corroborated on. And so I used that. I said, hey, these articles all agree that blah, 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 blah. You know, vaccination is effectively safe, and thimerosal, the active ingredient in vaccinations or vaccines, is also effectively safe. And then I used like World Health Organization data. Like, I let the facts speak for themselves. I don't.
That's the best way to do it. Like, when it's something like that and you're dealing with someone that's emotional, like about their argument or their opinion, the best thing to do is to not try and counter that with more emotion.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just being factual about it. Yeah. No, I agree.
That's something that I learned a bit in like taking my law classes at school, is like, and just like once you learn like the intricacies of law, and I'm sure it works the same with just about any other kind of field, but like watching how people like react like with emotions and like how they think like it works. Whereas if you know like trying to articulate how I want to say, but like if you know the intricacies of like say the law or like science or like the ingredients in the vaccines, like once you know like how it works, then you see people that emotionally react to it. It's really kind of funny to like watch how really kind of stupid people can be whenever they don't think with reason and logic, and they just let their emotions run rampant.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to say that if you can prove to me that vaccinations are in fact dangerous, then I'll believe you. Otherwise,
right. And
vaccines are safe.
That's a good thing to say too. I mean, it probably won't happen. I'm sure it won't, but you should always welcome someone to try and change your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like one of those things. It's like the opinions that we hold are not. It's not like the end all be all. Like it will always be this no matter what. This is just how it is. It's like no. It's if things can present themselves that can persuade you in the opposite direction with enough evidence or verification, then yeah, of course our opinion's going to change. Like we're not set in stone, but it's like if the major consensus is this one thing, then if it fucking walks like a duck, then it might be a goddamn duck. Like it's not that complicated, but if you can present something to me that shows me that, hey, it might actually be the opposite and I think it's credible, then, well, yeah, I'm not gonna be like, well, no, you're wrong. It's like, no, I'll look into it. Like that's how it works. But don't take us being like, hey, I disagree as, oh, well, fuck you, buddy. You're a piece of shit. I don't like it.
I feel like a lot of people are like that though. Like once they like have their opinions formed, like that's it. They're like, well, these are my opinions. I guess I'm going to stick with it for the rest of my life, and I'm never going to change them.
People are just set in their ways, man.
I feel like it's
shitty
that way with religion. And I don't mean to dog on religion or anything, but if you grow up with one of the religions that's most predominant, you're probably going to turn out that way.
Here's my biggest... I'm sorry, did you have something you want to say?
I was going to say, I feel like you can be indoctrinated like with religion, but you can do that with just about like anything else too, and I think it happens a lot like politically as well.
Yeah, like I was going to mention politics, but I thought religion would be less igniting.
I feel like it might be more.
Yeah, it's more igniting for sure.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%. That's like a very sensitive subject for a lot of people.
I think politics is more sensitive.
Religion and politics, those the two things they say not to talk about at dinner.
Yeah. I mean, we're definitely gonna step on some toes here. And just by the way, we're not talking shit on anyone who's religious or anything like that. We none of us here at the table are very religious, so we see it from a different viewpoint. But don't ever think that we're fucking attacking you for your beliefs. You can believe whatever the hell you want. I don't care. I just happen to have issues with it myself, and I'm about to express that now. My biggest issue that I have with people, with really any religion, it's not so much like the spiritual aspect of it, like the idea that there might be a God or whatever, but my biggest issue is the dogmatic practices of religion. So, for instance, the thing that a lot of people are taught growing up when they've been brought up in it is that, like, no matter what is ever presented, this is the answer. God is always the answer, and the Bible is always right. And that's with any religious text. That's how they bring you up. It's like, no matter what is presented to you, that's not true, this is true. That is a huge fundamental flaw in logic and reasoning. That's not, and that's something that I think is very detrimental to a lot of people intellectually, really, because it limits you. Because it's like, okay, well, that means if something could legitimately pop up that's like, hey, this thing in the Bible didn't happen, or there is no God or whatever, and that pops up and you're like, there's a lot of proof here, like it's almost undeniable, like this is the proof, they're always going to say no, because the way they're brought up is no matter what, this is right. And I take a lot of issue with that. I'm like, no, you should question things. Like that's not how you function on an intellectual level. You can't just always, without exception, believe one thing. There could always be something that pops up to challenge it or to make you think on it. But yeah, so that's my biggest issue I have with it. I'm like, that's just not how the world works. That's just not how opinions and facts work. Like you shouldn't base it like that.
This is, were you going to say anything?
Go ahead.
Okay. This is same subject, but sort of detracting from the topic at hand. One of my biggest fears, actually, is that of all the religions that I've decided to not adhere to, one of them is correct, and I'm wrong for not believing in a single one of them. Like, that's something that occurred to me as I was walking in a Walmart parking lot one night, just a couple of nights ago, actually.
You afraid you were gonna like get stabbed or some shit?
Oh no, I'm not sure why I was thinking about it.
You just saw Walmart and you got like super philosophical.
Maybe, but let's say I've tried to be as good of a person as I can be, but I don't adhere to any specific religion like I have been, and say I'm like 90 and I end up dying at a ripe old age of 90 years old.
Good.
I mean, that's a pretty, that's 90's, a high life.
90's high up there.
Yeah.
Remember, at the point maybe when it's getting shitty. I feel like once you get past like 80, like unless you're in really good health, like it's just getting shittier every month.
Yeah, I agree.
But go ahead.
I thought, when it comes to be my time, what if I'm wrong? I mean, there are an umpteen amount of religions, and statistically, any one of them could be correct, but scientifically, none of them are.
That's what. Hold on, I feel a burp coming. I'll keep. It's gone. I didn't want to do it mid-sentence. That's what really gets me the most is of all the religions there, like I mean there's probably like mainly like 6 or 7 like big like really mainstream religions, but of course there's like countless other branches and like subsections of them, but there's nothing that puts one that's like more correct or can be more true than the others besides what you think within that one religion. You know what I mean? Like,
I think I'll have to slightly disagree with you there, because I think that Christianity has a lot more, what is it? Not context, like verification at the time. Like it's very well, it's like, okay, well documented back in its time. I think it's like the one religion that is like the most documented. I think there's technically more things to prove that Jesus Christ existed than there was Socrates. So technically, I think of all of them, that's the one that has like the most credibility. But
well, I would say that points to credibility to Jesus being alive and being a person. It doesn't really. I'm talking like more on like the grandiose like aspects of it. Like if yours is the correct one that leads to the afterlife, because typically when you're in any kind of Christian environment and you go to church, you get told like this is the way. If you don't believe in this way, then you're gonna go to hell. So like, what if you're a Buddhist and say like, oh well, there is. I mean, I don't really know much about the Buddhist religion, but I know they believe in like reincarnation. They're like, well, there isn't like much of an afterlife. You just come back as like something else
until you achieve nirvana.
Yeah.
Or is that Hinduism?
No, that's well, I think it's aspects of both, but Buddhism, yeah.
Okay.
Right, but like, it's just like trying to fit like a triangle into like a square hole. Like they just like don't like coexist in the same like realm of spirituality, if you know what I mean. Like, so
yeah,
I just
like
don't,
there are different principles,
yeah,
guiding
so
principles to each.
There's just, and the way that I see and the way I think about things, I can't justifiably say like one is more correct than the other without some sort of proof.
Yeah.
And that's really what gets me the most is when people ask me if I'm religious, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, if you can, and it goes back to what we talked about earlier, like if you can prove to me otherwise, then yeah, I'll believe you. But as of right now, it's just,
yeah. I mean, I'm completely open to the idea. Like the thing is I want to be religious. Like I want to have that one that I'm like, yeah, man, that's the fucking answer, and like I want to dive into that. But so far, there's been nothing really presented to me that I could like, wholeheartedly be like, that's the correct answer. And like you were saying with all these other religions, well, yeah, every single person in every major religious culture believes theirs is the one that's correct 100%. And then what was the thing I was talking about earlier? No matter what's presented to me, this one is right, and this is the way I believe. This is correct. People in the Islamic world believe that. People in the Christian world believe that. People who, Hinduism, Buddhism, everyone within those cultures believe that exact same thing. No matter what's presented to me, this one's correct. So, how do you win there? How do you?
Someone's wrong.
Yeah, someone's wrong. Someone's super fucked.
Maybe they're all wrong. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm open to the idea of it. Like I don't. It's nice to think about that. There's something beyond this, or there's some like grander purpose, and sometimes I can subscribe to that. Like sometimes there's some like crazy shit that happens that you're like, I have no explanation for that. Sure, but like also the way that the world is, I don't think there's like an active guiding hand and like a plan for everything, and I don't think there can. Logistically, it doesn't make any sense for them to be a plan for like absolutely everything. So, yeah, I don't buy into that aspect, but like I could totally buy into like, okay, hey, maybe these things did happen before in the past, right? Like maybe the things in the Old Testament did happen, but then God was just like, hey, I'm done with this shit. I'm just gonna like be a fucking like onlooker now. Like I could buy into that, sure. Like I don't see any reason why I couldn't, but I don't buy into each and everything that happens is because God wanted it to. I'm like, okay, well then there's a lot of fucked up shit that happens that's
a good counter argument too, and it kind of, I mean, it makes sense, but I know like a lot of like Christians get offended by like, that type of thing, but it's like, oh, it's for a reason. Like babies dying of cancer, like what good comes of that?
Their
a
reply.
rebuttal to that.
Yeah.
So,
Go. No, you go
I
ahead.
mean, there is a
okay. Like
you say your rebuttal.
the
but-
common reply that I see to that is that baby dying will affect somebody else who will carry out God's plan.
Yeah, I hear. I was going to say that same thing, but in different.
Yeah,
The main thing I hear is that your life is not always about you, which, on a lesser fucked up scale, I can see that. That's cool. It's like, okay, my purpose in life, maybe I don't get everything I want, but it was to affect you guys and to build stronger friendships and to live better lives. Okay, yeah, sure. That's pretty poetic, actually. I like that. But
You can die now.
I don't think Mary Beth down the street getting raped and then like having that child, I don't think that's the same thing. That's like really, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
No, but
I
what
don't.
if-
There is no. I
No,
don't.
no.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if that child could do something great in life?
There's a better way to go about it, man.
I know, I know.
Like-
But you don't understand the divine plan at hand here.
Yeah. See. Yeah. This is. I hate this.
Yeah.
I would say, like, with religion, and every time I talk to someone that's semi-open and they're pretty religious, I try and tell them, like, I would say that I'm agnostic. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm really open to anything. But I don't care, like, what it is. Like, that if you're not spiritual at all, but, I mean, if you're a Christian, if you're a Buddhist or Hindu, if that makes you a better person and you try to impact the world in a positive way, like, it doesn't matter like what you believe in, as long as it makes you a better person in the long run, then that's cool with me.
Yeah. No. I completely agree. See, like that's the thing.
That's how people should think, though.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and a lot of people, and I mean, even some of our friends who get so like, so atheist level that it's like, no, it's bad on like every regard. I'm like, no, there is a lot of good that comes out of religion. Like the ideals of Christianity are beautiful. Like, basically live by the golden rule, treat people the way you would want to be treated, and people go on these amazing mission trips and they do great things for the world. Like, that's awesome. That's beautiful. And that's the way it should be. And it's like, you know what? I might not agree with your, your ideas of where we all came from and shit, but I get behind exactly what you stand for. That's great. Like, you're doing great shit. But there's people out there who, take kind of like moral high ground, and people who ruin it for the other people. Because, a lot of religion gets a lot of flack for... the dumb bitches that are in it. I mean, really, just the fucking dumbass, the dumbass people that are in it that try to take the, the high moral standing, and they're taking 6 dicks on Saturday, and then they're like, but I'm on my knees in church on Sunday. It's like, yeah, fuck you, like, or
they just use it
yeah.
as like a way to portray themselves to look better amongst their peers. Like, they can be the most like fucked up like person like Monday through Saturday, but Sunday they go to church and they think like everything's okay. Like, you can believe that, but I think that's fucked up. I feel like, and I used to think this too when I was more religious, and I stopped going to church, and this is what I would tell people. They'd be like, why'd you stop going to church? I'd be like, well, I'm not really like following like a Christian belief. Like, I'm not reading the Bible. I don't pray. I sin all the time. I'm not a good Christian. So I'm not going to pretend like I am one and go to church. Like, I'm going to take a break. Like, the way I see it, if I'm more honest about my religion and the way that I act and portray myself, like, if there is a God, like, he'd be more accepting and be like, hey, you know what? Chandler's a real one. Like, he knows that he's not doing the way things I wanted to, so he's not telling people that he is. And I would tell people if I come back around to it, then I'll be religious again and I'll start practicing it. But I'm not going to tell people that I am because it makes me look good. I'm going to be honest about it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people, they just don't have the guts to do that. They just get so stuck in like believing that they are like a good Christian or a good whatever, that they get stuck to that ideal.
Yeah, and it's just really sad because it's for the people who are like on the fence about it, right? Like, do I want to be religious? They see people like that, and it taints the idea of religion because, like I said, there's so many good things that come out of it, but because of this minority of people who are just fucking assholes about it, it ruins it and it gives it a really bad name. Or like people in like Islam, right? Like, Islam has so many teachings of like peace and prosperity, but the fucking crazy radicals in it who want to behead you if you're fucking gay and stone you to death and just a bunch of crazy shit, like, that's people's perception of Islam. It's like, yeah, this is a fucked up, oppressive religion. And it's like, okay, well, if you take it for the good parts that you're supposed to, not really. Like, it's good. But that's not how it works. People take it so serious, and they take it as the end-all, be-all. Like, I have to fucking abide by every stipulation of this, and it says stone you if you're gay, so that's what I'm fucking doing. And it's horrible. And it sucks because it really puts a bad name on the people who are doing good in this world.
See, after you, man.
Oh, you go ahead. I got a little story I was going to tell.
Okay. I was just going to say an observation, and that's I find people say that the caricatures of Islam are worse than the caricatures, of Christianity. It's not that they say it, but they treat it as such. Like,
top you off, sir?
Sure. Thank you.
My pleasure.
But they use the radical extremists of the followers of Islam to essentially denounce Islam, while the people who do things in the name of Christianity, or the people who say, good choice, that's a good one, the people who say that old God or Old Testament God was a dick, that subject doesn't nearly get spoken about enough as people killing people in the name of Allah. And I mean, I guess for a good reason. People are killing people in the name of Allah, where in the Old Testament, people don't really act on that anymore, I think. Unless you're really orthodox.
Well, that's the thing, is that we've evolved past that point, right? We had that time where we were doing that shit. Oh my God, Zach called it the Catholicos. It's the
Catholicos.
the fucking the Spanish Inquisition, Salem witch trials. Yeah, we medieval times, fucking set 1,000 years back. Yeah, no, we've had our time. We did that shit way back in the day, where if you didn't abide by Old Testament dick God, you were gonna die. Like, that's how it was. But eventually, we finally got to the point where it's like, okay, now people can like practice this and not kill each other. Well, Islam hasn't gotten to that point yet, and it's fucking it's 1,000. It's like 1,500 years newer than Christianity or something like that, because Christianity was beginning like what is it, like 0 through like year 33 or something like that. I don't know.
That sounds right. That sounds like the life of Jesus. I think that's the
span of Christ's life. Yeah.
But it's a little off, because technically Christ was born in like something BC. It doesn't make any fucking sense. But so right there at the beginning, and then Islam didn't develop until about like 600s, I think. Okay, so I'm sorry.
That sounds.
I think
right.
Okay, so I'm sorry, not 1,500. So it's 600 years newer. Well, take us back 600 years. We were killing each other.
It's a good observation.
So I mean, it's a newer religion, and it hasn't really evolved to the point of like, hey, you can like worship this peacefully with everyone. But we still have our crazy motherfuckers too, though. Like, don't get me wrong, Westboro Baptist Church, like, fucking assholes.
For sure.
Protesting like gay military funerals, like basically saying this guy's a piece of shit, shouldn't even be buried because he was gay, yet he served our country and died for it. Like,
even worse. Sorry for the interruption.
Go ahead.
Well, I don't want to say that protesting a straight man is worse than protesting a gay man, but they were protesting just a soldier who had nothing to do with straight, gay, that whole, I don't want to call it a debacle, but that whole,
we gotcha.
Yeah, I don't even have a word for it. A man who had nothing to do with the straight or gay thing. Westboro Baptist Church said that the soldiers that are dying deserve to die because we are condoning homosexuality.
Yeah.
Whether you're straight, whether you're gay, you deserve to die if you're a soldier because we as a country condone homosexuality. And I think that is absolutely fucked.
Yeah, no, the Westboro Baptist Church is a bunch of fucking assholes, but they're a division of like Calvinism, and so that obviously is like the most extreme I think you can get here in the US, because we don't condone people fucking stoning each other to death. Whereas
of course,
the most extreme over in those other countries that haven't quite gotten to our point yet are literally murdering each other all the time for dumb shit. So Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like if the religion can get to the point where it is like peaceful, like why can't we all just be Buddhist? Like they're not fucking killing each other. They're not starting wars over dumb shit. They're just fucking praying on mountains. That's it. That's all they do.
Lighting themselves on fire.
They're such good people. Yeah, that. But that's just causing harm to themselves.
Okay. Tell me the story on that.
I don't know if he was Buddhist, but
I think he was.
I think so too. But like the monk that was like in protest, I don't know the context of it. I just
Vietnam
know the
War, I believe, is what it was.
And he like was meditating, and he like set himself on fire and just like sat there. Like you've seen the picture. It's the cover for I think it's on the cover of the Rage Against the Machine album.
Is it Rage? It might be.
Look up Rage Against the Machine's album cover.
Yeah.
For Killing in the Name of.
It's a really famous picture.
Or you can just look up the picture.
I can just look up Isn't it Burning Man?
You look up Burning Man, you're gonna get like the fucking hippie festival like pictures.
Well, yeah, but there might be.
Like, is that what Burning Man is named off of?
No, I don't think so.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
it is.
Yeah.
What am I looking at here?
Here's the monk.
Like the monk, like he set himself on fire,
and he just kept meditating. It was to show you that peace prevails, I guess. I don't know the context of it, but before we get too far, I wanted to share an interesting yet awkward conversation I had at work the other day.
Okay.
And my work is a faith-based organization. I mean, they don't like parade it much, but I would say it's like comparable to Chick-fil-A, I guess, except they're not as like outspoken, but they've got like Bible verses like up in the restaurants and everything, but it's not like a main
like a staple.
Yeah, but so I was doing a catering job for a church, and like I was cleaning up, and this guy like came up and asked John first like if he went to church, and John's just like, no, I don't. And he like kind of like was able to like get his way out of the conversation. Then the guy asked me, he's like, what church do you go to? And I was like, I don't go to church. And like I knew like just like the way like it was going, like he was gonna be like, oh, you need to go to this church, why don't you do this, like type of thing. And I just was trying to like play it off, and I lied, but I was just trying to make it like the least awkward it could be. I was like I don't go to church. I was like I just kind of worship on my own time. I was like whenever I can, and like straight, like I feel like that's like a good way to like kind of just like segue my way out of the conversation. He like straight face like talks to me, he's like, well, is that the way that you think it's supposed to be done? And I'm just like, it took like
God damn it,
because I'm trying to be like professional too, and I didn't want to just like open up the rabbit hole, but it took like everything in me to be like, is there a wrong way? I was like, I mean, and he just like kept going on. He's like, well, you need to come to our church. He's like, I'm gonna pray for you. He's like, you can come to my house. We can shoot some guns. We can talk about Jesus for 3 or 4 hours. I'm just like, yeah, sounds good, man. I'm just trying to finish my job. But like, like when he responded with that, I was like, dude, I was like, how quicker do you want someone to like not be religious? Like, I hate that aspect of, I don't know if it's present in other religions, but I know it. A large portion of it is in like Christianity, where they try and like force you into it. Like if you say like the way like it should go is if someone asks you, hey, do you go to church? No, I don't. Well, hey, I go to so-and-so church. I think you would really like it. I think it'd be a fun experience. You should try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey,
for sure.
Thanks. You know, maybe I will do that. Okay, cool. Have a good day. Like that's how it should be. But it ends up being, oh, well, you need to come this Sunday. I'll start getting things ready for you. I'll talk to the pastor. It's like, oh, okay, just pump the brakes, take it easy. It's like, well, what are you doing Sunday? Do you have anything planned? And like keeps going, and it's just like, stop.
Why don't we take this slow? I don't want to wind up pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, when he said that to me, I was like, dude, this is what's like, you're what's wrong with this religion.
Yeah, well, and it's unfortunate because like that's part of the practice, right? Is to spread the good word and to indoctrinate people, and it's like. Like you said, I'm
sorry, I don't want to interrupt. I don't think their mission is to indoctrinate people.
Okay, well, that's not the word that's the word I would use. It's not the word they would use, but
well, I just want to reflect in a fair manner, and I don't think their mission is to indoctrinate.
But however, it is to persuade.
I think it's interpreted that way by some though. Like they, like I feel like as like a rough idea, like you should like Trevor said, you should spread the word and you should try to get people to join your religion, and you should try and like save as many people as you can. And people see them, they're like, all right, well, this is my duty. Like, I've got to get people to church. Like,
But
hell or high water. Like, I'm gonna get this person to go to my church.
This is slightly where I was going with this, but go ahead.
I think there's a difference between attempting to convert someone to your religion and completely indoctrinating them.
You're right. That might just be a wrong adjective I had used.
I mean, we may just be arguing about semantics here.
Probably.
But
Yes.
I do
No,
think
you're right.
indoctrination was
Indoctrinate's
the wrong
probably
word.
a bit of a...
Extreme.
Yeah, it's more of an extreme word. That's just me as a skeptic using that more than likely, my own bias. But okay, so what was the word you just used? Convert.
I just
There
said
we go. Convert.
conversion.
That you're right. That's more fair. So a lot of people so I get that it's in their practices to try and convert people to their religion, but like you were saying, it's a completely different thing from being like, I am going to put my dick in your mouth with this shit, and you're going to love this, as opposed to just like being like you said, hey, you know, I go to this church, you seem like a cool dude, I think it'd be cool if you would come sometime, we're talking about this next Sunday. Like, it's like you give the invitation, and if they want to come, you've done your godly part, right? You were already the influence that maybe got them there.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Not the other
I
dude.
I don't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah, me either. Like, I would never tell someone, if some dude came up to me, which I have a story for, but if some dude came up to me and was just like, hey man, like, you want to join our church? Like, I would have no problem being like, nah man, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna tell you, as someone who's just doing what you think is right, to go fuck yourself. Like, that I would never do that. However, if you're the other dude doing that, there's a chance I might tell you to go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Because
if I wasn't in a work environment, I probably would have said a few different choice words. Not like very mean, but I would have been a little bit more aggressive to it. But it's just the idea of it. And I feel like a lot of people are like that. Because it's just the most recent memory I have of it. But I've encountered that quite a few times, where people are just like so hell bent on getting you to go to church. Like, I feel like you should just know, like, through common sense and logic, like, the best way to like try to get someone to like do something isn't being super aggressive.
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, well, yeah, you can't force someone into something they don't want to do or they're hesitant about. Like, you have to let them have their own say in it in a way. But the story I wanted to tell was, so not all that long ago, I think, like, what was it, back in February, March, somewhere around there. I was working out at Planet Fitness up the road, and some dude approached me, and it was like shortly after the New Year. So he's like, it's this really old guy. He's like, oh, you working on your New Year's resolution? There's like fucking 30 people in this gym. This guy walks up to me, of all people. And so this was one of the things that let me like kind of like, I indulged him a bit, because I'm like, I want to know what made him pick me out of everyone.
Yeah.
So anyways, he just starts going on and on and on. And so like eventually my workout, I'm like, well, I guess I'm not working out tonight, because he fucking talked to me for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes just about the good word in God. And he was kind of telling his own story. And like, so I was being nice. I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And I was listening to everything that he had to say. And then he was like, well, are you saved? And he basically, like, he tried to save me there in the gym. And I'm like, okay, he's going far. He's going real far. He's shooting his shot here, man. He's shooting out of his league, but whatever.
He's throwing that holy Hail Mary.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like,
I like that.
he was overbearing about it, but he wasn't a dick about it at all. Like, the guy was super nice the entire time, and there was never a point when this was happening that I was like, you need to get fucked. Like, he was being super, super nice about it. And so, like, yeah, I indulged him, and he was like, will you say a prayer with me? I'm like, yeah, sure, fuck it, I'll say a prayer. Or whatnot. So I said a prayer with him, like, right there in the gym. I was like, I hope everyone's watching this. And, you know, the guy went on his way, and he's like, oh, what's your name? And he, like, wrote it. He had, like, a fucking book of people he's been doing this to, like, going around and, like, saving people, right?
It's his secret hit list. When he said no, it's like,
yeah.
do you want to come to church? Oh, I don't know about that. All right, what's your name? Trevor King Minor. Mm-hmm.
He's like, yeah, I'll listen to your podcast. It's the fucking sharp downvote. Thumbs down. Yeah, so like then the dude went on his way, and it's like, you know, I thought it was interesting because there's sometimes I think people who are like in the religion really do have like an eye for it, right? Because it's like I said, of all people in that gym he could have talked to, he walked up to me, and I'm probably one of, because living in small time Texas, I'm probably one of the only people in that gym who's like, I don't believe in anything really.
Yeah.
And so he walks up to me, and so I was like, you know what? I'll take this as my own sign. I'll listen to what the man has to say. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I feel like sometimes a lot of these religious people, like, they just know, because I can't tell you how many times I've like gotten that shit from other people. Like, they're like, oh yeah, it's like, you're kind of on the fence, aren't you? And I'm like, how the fuck do you just know that by looking at me? Like what is it? Is it the way I cross my legs? I have no idea, but they know. They can read body language, and they're like, that motherfucker needs God. So props to him. You're good at your shit.
Whenever you reach like a certain point in Christianity, they just implant like a
Terminator scanner.
Yeah. It's just like they just like inject it into like your fucking temporal lobe, and they're just like, it's a scanner. Like they just like go into like highly dense, highly populated areas, and they're just like, do. This is the one.
His atheism levels are over 9,000.
I heard Bible Man started that, like he was the inventor of it.
Atheism
he was
levels?
100%.
Or like over 9,000.
Yeah, the atheism scouter.
Okay, 'cause I know Vegeta's the over 9,000.
Let's
guy.
trademark that.
It goes to 1 over 9,000 Bill Maher. Like, those are the 3 levels.
Well, this may be a little bit of a left field, but I don't want to get hung up on religion,
This one will probably be called religion because this is taking up a good chunk already. But go ahead. We're here to talk about whatever the fuck we want.
/ vaccination.
Yeah.
Well, I'd actually like to mention biocentrism now.
Okay.
And this is something...
What a segue.
Yeah. This is something that one of my coworkers recommended to me. He said he thought it was an interesting video. And so I went ahead and watched it on the way here. And I haven't heard of biocentrism before today. If you want a more educated opinion than what I have to offer, it's out there. And you will definitely find something better than what I can give you now. But from what I understand, biocentrism is essentially stating that the universe can't exist without a form of consciousness, that being us.
Oh, yes, I've heard of this before. I didn't know it was called biocentrism, though. Go ahead, keep going. I'm really interested in this, actually.
Okay, so to give you an example, the guy in the video that I saw was probably a PhD, by the way, just to give you a little bit of his credentials. This man compared the classical scientific viewpoint of... That was a nice clink.
My coaster's gone forever.
You want mine? I'm about to
polish
off.
I'm out of Coke.
Oh, no.
Straight whiskey.
I got
The podcast is going to
shit.
ruin. There we go. In case you didn't see, Chandler is sharing his Coca-Cola with
I'll
Trevor.
cut this.
Okay.
Refill. Intermission.
All right. Biocentrism. So, the classical scientific viewpoint is, without humanity, time, events in the universe, things like that will still go on, even though no consciousness is around to experience it. That's just a common scientific viewpoint. But in the biocentric viewpoint, none of that would happen without somebody there to observe it. And a few things that I thought were interesting are, one, they tried to invoke quantum mechanics, and I would say for the most part they did it correctly, but on one hand they mentioned quantum entanglement, and that's when, if I can explain it correctly, 2 particles have properties that are determined by one another. Like, for example, properties of a particle include spin. And if 2 particles are quantum entangled, then their properties, are going to cancel out and give a net zero of whatever property that is. So spin, you can have a spin up and spin down particle together to produce a net zero spin, after it's all said and done.
You lost me a little bit, but
okay,
keep going.
Is there anything I can further elaborate on?
I'm just curious to see how this comes back. Keep going.
Okay, so quantum entanglement, right? just to give you a heads up, regardless of what I just said, information cannot travel at the speed of light, or cannot travel greater than the speed of light. And information is anything. So if you know the spin of a particle, for example, that information cannot travel faster than the speed of light. And this one particular guy who was an advocate for biocentrism said that the interpretation of
They're not going to be able to hear that, but we did. So for those who didn't hear that, we hear in the background John going, uh-oh, uh-oh.
I think that might have been Zach.
Was it Zach?
I think it was Zach.
I don't
One
fucking
of the
know. It
two,
sounded
whoever.
like whatever.
Look, they're dueling. Shit happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
So, this proponent of biocentrism, which isn't something that I necessarily disagree with, I just disagree with the way he tried to back it up. He said that, according to quantum mechanics, two particles a universe apart violate the fact that information can travel at a speed limit, which is the speed of light. He said that once you know the speed of one, or the spin of one particle, you know the spin of the other particle. And yes, that's true, but the observer on the other side doesn't know the spin of that particle. And to them, it's essentially random, which is why it doesn't violate anything in physics. But I want to know your take. I know I sort of detracted here, but
Oh, no. I love this shit.
biocentrism sounds a lot like the universe is procedurally generated or is constantly rendering.
So there's a...
Need more wine for this.
There's something that I've read into a little bit, and it goes into this, and it's basically this idea that the only thing that you 100% know exists, like with certainty, is the self. So you are the only thing that you know without doubt exists because you experience things.
Yeah.
So the things around you, like, is this a table or is this just my sensory nerves telling me this is a table? I don't really fucking know, but I know I exist because I'm here talking and making my own whatever. So I've heard probably one of the most poetic things I ever heard, at least regarding that, was that us as human beings are the universe's way of experiencing itself. That was one of the most poetic things I had heard, because it's like we are these living entities in this fucking vastness of chaos, and it's like we're experiencing what we are made of, which is the universe. So we are the universe technically, because we're made of all the shit that's in the universe. So we're like its way of experiencing like what it's like to be it. So I thought that was really cool, but I haven't read like too much into it, but I always thought that was kind of neat. It's like, yeah, the only thing that like really truly exists, I guess, really to yourself is yourself, because it's like it's the only thing I can know with certainty is here.
So that right there is something that intrigues me, because if you were to subscribe to that theory or that belief system, that ideology, then me right now talking to you, I would just be a projection of something inside of your mind, or maybe I wouldn't exist. But from my point of view, I am a sentient being. I do exist. And if I also subscribe to that point of view, then you could just be a projection of something inside me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So at one point, like, if we don't acknowledge the fact that each of us exists independently of one another, then at what point does it become a bunch of simulations running one over another? Because Chandler, for you, Trevor and I could be figments of your imagination. If you're the only one who controls your own reality, then we're just observers created by your mind.
Yeah.
But Trevor, you could have the same point of view.
Yeah, no, I mean, it generates a lot of problems, obviously. I mean, just the whole big thing is like, who are we? Where did we come from? Why are we here? Those are like the three fucking biggest things. That there's a bunch of cool theories out there, but none of us really know, like with certainty, what this all is, right? why we're here, why we work so like seamlessly, or just fucking computers walking around basically. There's no concrete answer. So it's like, even if it was like, just in simple terms, like the Big Bang, right? Well, like, what purpose is there? I mean, we don't know what was before that. We don't know why did it happen. Like, maybe we're asking the wrong questions. I have no idea. But there's a whole lot of fucking mystery around just like what we are in general. I think about it all the time. I'm like, what am I? Like, am I just this fucking monkey that got really smart and knew how to talk to other monkeys pretty well? Or am I this, is there some other kind of like higher purpose? I have no fucking clue. I think I think the possibilities are like fucking endless. But with in regards to the self, right? So I want to tell this. This is the first time I've ever told this story, I guess technically publicly, but I want to talk about this fucking crazy trip I had once.
Okay.
So I won't go into like too many details because my brain is still scrambled from everything I fucking saw. So long time ago, well, not what was it? It was only like a year ago.
You're talking about Kinsden, right?
Yeah, Kinsden, May or June. So
wow.
Yeah, so I'm with a couple friends, and I had never done drugs before, like never. So this was my first time. I had tried to smoke weed a couple times, and nothing really happened. And so this one day, all of our friends were like, all right, no, we're gonna make sure you do this shit right. And so like they made me take like several hits off of this joint, and it started off pretty cool, I would say. Like, I just got like super giggly, and I'm just sitting there at the table, and everyone's watching me, and I'm just kind of like laughing. And I literally had this like thing where I would like close my eyes, and I saw myself like in a chair, and I'm just free falling through like clouds, like these like endless clouds, and it was so fucking cool. But it turned dark really fast, like super fast. So, next thing I know, I can't like talk or function very well, and I'm like seeing the same shit over and over and over again. I'm getting stuck in this like fucking like wicked ass time loop. So like I'm seeing the same thing happen like a million times. It won't stop, and it's like really starting to freak me out. And so I'm doing this thing. I'm sitting there in the chair, and I'm like I'm literally like rocking like I don't know if was I actually rocking like that, like.
I don't remember.
Yeah, so but to me, I'm like sitting there like moving in a circle. But it was much more exaggerated. And so like every time I would get to the top of this like rocking movement, I would come to. I'd be like completely normal, like it's like intense sobriety, and I'm like, guys, I'm freaking the fuck out. Something's not right. Like I'm like super like paranoid's not even I'm having like a mental breakdown or some shit. And so I would try to express that to everyone in the room, like, I'm not okay. And then like the second, so like I'm going like this, but it's like kind of slow to me. So it's like I'm moving like pretty slow. And so every time I would kind of get a little angled off from like that center point, I would forget what I'm doing like entirely. And I'm just like freaking out, super anxious. Like I can't stop trembling. And then I would get back to the peak of the circle, and I'm like normal again. It was like having a stroke or some shit. I have no idea. It was fucking freaky. But the coolest / most terrifying part of it was I had like an intense mental freak out. Like I lost my shit. I was screaming. I was fucking going nuts. And I was just seeing this like loop, and something was like dragging me to the center of this loop. And I finally like came to, and like I was like sweating, and like it was like the most clear I had ever seen anything in my life. Lights were super vibrant and everything. And so I come to, and Chandler's on one side of me and Garrett's on the other, and they're trying to calm me down. They're like, hey, but my brain processed it in a complete, you need to walk through. Oh, no, you're just sitting. Okay. Yeah, so everything's super vibrant. It's crazy. It's like I'm inside of a really beautiful painting or something. And I'm sitting there, and Chandler's trying to calm me down, and he's like, dude, you're freaking out. And Garrett's like to the right of me, but they don't look how they normally look. Chandler has like an earring in. He's wearing different clothes. I don't recognize his name as Chandler. It's like something completely different. And I look to Garrett, and Garrett's like, He's dressed completely different. He's not wearing the same clothes. I'm calling him something different too. And they're not calling me my name. They're calling me something else. And I'm like, what is happening? I literally, it was like intersecting with another like reality or dimension or something. And basically the conclusion I had come to in that moment was my entire life was just a bad drug trip, and I had just been tripping this entire time. And in this one moment of lucidity, I finally came to, and everything was a lie. Every single it was like living in a very detailed simulation, and I finally came to, and then I died like that. And like right after that, I die, and it all restarts, and it was fucking nuts. But yeah, I was relating that to your like we were almost kind of going into simulation theory or whatnot. But yeah, that was the crazy experience I had ever had with that. So I'm like, kind of back on the, is there anything before? Is there anything after? What's going on? It's like anything's possible. Like after that crazy shit I saw, like fuck, maybe there are multiple realities we're all living in. Maybe the Mandela effect is real. I have no fucking clue. My brain was scrambled eggs. But yeah, I don't know. Who knows, man?
On the subject of dying while tripping, I've had that experience, but it definitely wasn't nearly as harrowing. Like,
oh, it was utterly terrifying.
I wasn't terrified. I was sitting on a couch, Chandler, in one of your couches, I think. Yeah. And there was a song that came on, and I always associate the song with death. Even though it's a really happy song, I think of dying because of it now. And it's it is...
Is this when you were listening to music or when I was playing music?
This is when I was listening to music.
Oh, okay.
Like, this is when I did my own thing while you guys were watching Big Mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I said something like you guys were going in one direction and I needed to...
We diverted paths.
Yeah. And it was Silence, the Millennium remix by Marshmello and Khalid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's the song I died to. So the only thing I saw in this moment, like when the bass dropped, I saw a light, okay? Imagine like have you seen the... It's a Panic at the Disco song.
I'm gonna say
The Crown.
I haven't seen
The Crown
this
music video. Okay, so at the beginning, Brandon Urie is under a very bright white light, similar to what we've got here, and he's just on a stretcher or a operating table, and he's panicking, freaking out, right? So what I saw was my right wrist under those same surgical lights, but it was slit and there was blood, like a pool of blood, and my hand was laying in it. I knew it was my hand. I knew I was dead, and I knew I was attached to that hand. And, I think you guys were there. When I was under the influence, I generally couldn't move, and I think I had to relearn how to snap to get you guys' attention.
I vaguely remember that.
But when this happened, like, I immediately snapped out of it, and I had to change the song to prevent myself from dying again. Because, that was kind of scary, man. Like, I'd never been that close to my death.
Yeah, dude, same thing happened on mine, but mine was with heroin needles, of all things. I was like trying to make sense of what the fuck is happening, and I looked down at my arm, and in it were just a bunch of, like, I had a heroin arm, like a heroin band, like tied around my arm tightly, and a bunch of needles sticking out. And so what my mind was trying to tell me was that I had OD'd, and that's why I'm seeing all this crazy shit, and I'm tripping so hard. And, like, my friends are talking to me, but I'm ODing, so, like, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm just dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking nuts. It's
Dude,
crazy.
It's freaking whack.
Yeah.
Like, I'm never going to go through anything as terrible as what you went through.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
I
don't
don't wish
shit.
that on my worst enemy. It was, yeah. Yeah, it took me a long time to get over that. I straight up got PTSD from that whole thing. It was so fucking terrifying. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it reacted so bad with me. But we had done that at like 10. And then I didn't come completely to, like, I'm back in reality. I can function as a human until like 4 in the morning.
Wow.
And that was the thing. I was blacking out like left and right. Like there's so many gaps in my memory. I don't remember like a lot of the shit that was going on. But I just remember. I remember when I completely came to. I was sitting on the chair, and like I had my hands on my face, and like I pulled my hands from my face, and I am just trembling to my core. I'm like fucking shaking. And I look around, and like a couple minutes pass, and I'm still like pretty grounded, so I know everything's back to normal now. And I'm like, I literally like said out loud, like verbally, I'm like, oh my God, I'm back. And I was just like terrified. I was like some dude who just witnessed like 20 murders or something. I looked fucking terrified, pale. I'm sure Zach saw. Was I not fucking like just out of my mind at that point?
I mean, yeah, I don't even know. You said you were back so many times because you would come out of the loop for like 10 seconds and then freak out. Like, I don't remember the exact time you were fully back.
Breaking the loop did nothing either.
Yeah. So like I said, there were these moments I kept coming back to complete mental clarity, and then I would just drift off again. But I wasn't like completely back. Like, all right, I'm not like gonna go back into that forgetting all my shit again until like 4 in the morning, because that's when we had went back into Garrett's house to like go to sleep.
Because the next day we went to B-Dubs and we were having dinner, and I thought you were gonna have like a nervous breakdown in B-Dubs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no. Okay. So here's the thing with that. So I was normal, like I wasn't tripping anymore, but I was so terrified. I literally was like having panic attacks for like a whole week after. So I was having a panic attack at Buffalo Wild Wings.
Of all places.
Like we're sitting there, and I kind of got this.
Fucking spice is
Yeah.
too much. It sent him on a fucking rampage.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so I'm sitting there, and I had moved in a certain way that reminded me, because like I had lost control of my body when I was like tripping. So like I was just like literally moving incoherently, like a fucking maniac. It was terrifying. So I had moved in a way that was similar, and it's like it had triggered a PTSD moment, and like all of a sudden I started like breathing heavy. Like I was having a legit panic attack. I went to the bathroom and I like threw water on my face, and I'm like fucking staring at myself in the mirror. I'm like, oh my God, like
That's the worst place to look.
Yeah.
Is the mirror.
Well, I wasn't on drugs anymore, but yeah, so I was fucking
No matter what time.
yeah. It was nuts. It took me a long time to get over that shit.
So, I wanted to talk about the trip that I had on psychedelics.
Mushrooms.
And yeah, I just want to preface this by saying, obey the laws in your state and city. But if you choose not to do that, mushrooms are a good place to start. I do not condone breaking the law. So, with that being said, I just want to go into detail about what I saw that day. And I know for the people listening on this podcast, it may not make a lick of sense, but it was one of the most incredible things that I have ever seen. And just trying to let you know what I experienced that day would bring me great joy, because I know I'll be transported back into the moment. So, when I started to feel it, like, what I remember was my eyes were open. Like, I didn't have to blink for quite some time. And while I was looking at your couch, Chandler, I was in my own world. Like, independent of what my eyes saw. It was as though I was dreaming without having to sleep. And I was in, like, a desert, and the sun was nice and orange, and the sky was a nice, beautiful blue. And I just stayed like that for a while. And then something by Pink Floyd came on, where it almost sounded like the speakers were moving in a circle. Like, it was almost like epic stereo sound. And then all of a sudden, like, I guess I got sucked into that music, and all of a sudden the music came back to normal. Like, it sounded like it was supposed to without the spinning, and I could breathe again. I don't know how long I wasn't able to breathe for, but I was able to take a nice breath of air after the music returned. It was whack. And then after I changed the song, when I was talking about the visualizing my wrist being slit, I saw a room, just a white room, sort of like the Death Star, I guess, but it had almost cone-like structures sticking out. This was a circular room, probably an oblate room, with a cylinder in the middle that expanded at both of its ends. Excuse me. And there were just spheres floating, and it was pretty whack. And then during one of the trips, I saw a rectangle. Like, my field of view was a rectangle. Half of the rectangle was blue, half of it was orange, and I was a dolphin moving through the blue and orange.
Jesus Christ.
And when I was in the orange, I was blue. And when I was in the blue, I was orange. And I would change colors as I went through half of this paper. Like, do you see kind of what I'm saying? Like, the bottom half of the paper was blue to represent water. The top half of the paper was orange to represent, like, the sunlight or something. And so I'd cross into the water, I'd become orange. I'd go into the sunlight, I'd become blue.
I'm
was
just
a
trying to
dolphin.
like picture a dolphin with like Michael's face on it. Just like
Oh my
just like photoshopped on.
What a monstrosity.
Yeah. You know, just a little childhood memory probing. When I was younger, I knew a guy named Adrian, and he photoshopped my face onto a penguin.
How did that turn out?
I looked like an idiot. Needless to say.
Nice.
He did the same with Chris. Same picture and everything. If I don't have it, but if I do, I'll send it to you and you can put it as the thumbnail to this video if you so desire.
Do you remember in Coach Fillinger's class when you wrote that nonsense paper about nuking penguins?
Yes, I do. Because busy work is bullshit.
Yeah. So fucking Michael, we were in it was in securities and investments. And the dude would leave us, just bullshit work whenever he was gone and he wasn't there. So it's like, all right, you need to write so many words about like this video or something, or this stock or whatever the fuck it was. And so Michael, he started it off normal, like, oh, this stock is like blah, 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 blah. And 4 sentences in, he was like, yeah, fucking squirrels dying and nuking penguins and blah, blah, blah. Just like utter nonsense. And then ended it like normal. So like the whole middle is literally just nonsense. And he got 100 on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
I got a perfect score on that paper.
Oh my God, that was fucking funny.
Speech skill 100 out of 100.
Exactly. Like that was probably one of my favorite things in high school.
I love that you
Like,
did that.
I take so much pride in that. Like, not anymore, but I did at the time.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you, man.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Now, I wanted to get you guys' take on biocentrism. I know we talked about it already, but
Hang
I want to
on.
know. Okay.
I want to go into this, and I told myself I probably wouldn't, but while we were on the subject, I want to talk about one of my experiences.
Oh, dude.
Oh, fuck
Lay it
yeah.
on me.
Let's go.
So, same preface as Michael's.
Excuse me.
You obey the law. But, and I'll give a more shortened version of this, but so I was on my high, and it was just everything was hunky-dory, funny, and just giggling at everything. And I decided to try and go to bed, and I'm laying down in my bed, and I was like, I'm just gonna turn on some music and just try and like go to sleep. I was high. I wasn't going to sleep. There's not a fucking ghost chance. And I'm just sitting there like trying to go to sleep, and I remember like at some point I like fell asleep, but I didn't really fall asleep because my mind was still like active. But I woke up, I guess if I could wake up, and I was trying to like turn my music off so I could go to sleep because I thought it was like keeping me up. And I couldn't reach for my phone. Like I couldn't move. And I was like, at this moment, like I didn't realize all of this until much later. But in the moment, I didn't know what was going on. I was in sleep paralysis, and I just couldn't move at all. And so I'm just like sitting there like in my bed, and the way my bed is set up, like it faces like a closet that like opens up with like the folding doors kind of thing, and it was always just kept open. And I'm just sitting there, and I see like this like iron like type throne, and there's just like this black figure like sitting on it, and it's just like watching me sleep. And it gets like progressively like closer to me. It's like walking up like towards my bed, and it's like this demonic looking figure, and it just keeps getting closer and closer to me. And at this point I'm like floating above myself, like I'm looking at myself like laying in the bed while this like apparition is getting closer to me, and it gets like close to my face, and I'm just sitting there like watching it happen, and like I can't move like at all. Like I'm just sitting there like forced to like let this thing come closer to me. And then one of my roommates at the time just like opens up my door, and like once that light comes in, it just like snapped me out of it, and I like come to, and I'm just like he's like, "Hey, were you asleep?" I was like, "I don't know." And I'm like soaking wet with sweat, I'm like breathing super heavy. He's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I don't know." And I remember distinctly, like it was probably like 3 or like 4 in the morning, I just like turn on my PlayStation, I see like some of us are like playing Call of Duty, and I was freaked out because I didn't know what the fuck happened. And I just like joined the party. That I'm like, "Hey, I'm not gonna play, but I just want to sit here and like listen to y'all talk, so I know like everything's okay." It's like I'm kind of freaking out a bit. And like that day, like it felt scary, but it really wasn't until like a year later, and I was just like driving home from work, and I was thinking about it, and it's like one of the most like profound experiences I've had in my life. And the way that I can interpret what happened is, at that point in my life, I was really depressed, and I was going through a lot of shit, and I was just like a really like kind of angry and just like really cynical, and I just like hated the world and like everything in it, and it was just like weighing me down. And whenever I was thinking about this in retrospect, what had happened is I'd pushed like all these like dark like thoughts like to the back of my head because I don't want to deal with it, like how sad and like depressed I was and how much I hated everything. And then whenever I was high, my subconscious forced myself to confront these things. And while I was in like this psychosis like state, like those kind of like thoughts and all the negative emotions I was feeling manifested into like a physical form. And it was my subconscious like confronting like all of my demons, like literally. It took like this physical form that I was seeing, and it was myself confronting like all my demons and everything that I had attached myself with. And then it was like forcing me to like look at it, and while I think that it was supposed to be like who I wanted to be, laying in the bed and all my negative emotions like staring at myself, and it was just the yin and the yang, like two separate pieces of who I was. Yeah. And I was watching how I could, you know, deal with both sides. And then whenever like I came to, it just like snapped, and it just like went away. Like all these like dark and like angry thoughts I had, and like from that day on, like I was always just like a more like kind of just calm and like mellow person. And you know, it wasn't like a cure-all. Like I wasn't like, oh yeah, I'm fucking better now. But it just like opened up like my eyes to like how to think about like what was going on in my head and like things I didn't want to deal with. And it was like crazy because I was just driving home from work, and I was just like thinking about it, and I was just like, holy shit. I was like, this makes fucking perfect sense.
Yeah. And
it's like the most profound like experience I've had in my life, like to date. Like it's crazy. And I think it's crazy how like it can do that for some people, but it's illegal.
Yeah. Dude, that's fucking nuts. I never heard that story like in full. I'd always known some of the small details. That's really cool. And I remember after you'd had it, you had told me, you know, a little bit about what you would learn from it. And then I remember after I had my whole fucking like nightmare trip, you were like, you'll learn something from it eventually. And it took a long time for me to process everything that had happened, but then I started to get it, right? So like I kind of I'm actually able to draw a conclusion from it now that when it happened, it just seemed like utter nonsense. But what I think I drew from mine was, so, you know, like I said, I just kept getting stuck in these loops, like these endless repeating loops for like years. They like wouldn't stop. And so at that point in time, I was at this point in life, I was going through an existential crisis because I had relatively recently, I would say within that last like 6 months, like given up the idea of like truly religion. Like before I would still claim myself. I thought I was like a deist at the time. But at that point I had pretty much like revoked all of it and had like considered myself agnostic. And so like basically for the first time in my life, I was questioning like, what is my purpose? I had never done that before until like that point. Also I was kind of living like I couldn't find a job because I was like fresh out of college and I was applying to all these places, but I wasn't really branching out of my comfort zone like all that much, I would say, because we grew up in a small town and it's easy to get content and comfortable with just like that small town living idea, right? It's like, oh, I don't want to fucking live in the city or whatever bullshit justification I gave myself. And so after the trip and just like the process of all the loops and the I'm doomed to repeat this for the rest of my life kind of thing, and how I just thought everything was like meaningless, I kind of came to the conclusion that what was happening is that like I didn't know where I was going in my life, and it was the idea of I'm stuck within my comfort zone or these fucking barriers that I have put around myself that I'm not even aware of, and if I don't do something to break out of these barriers, I will be doomed to repeat this. Nothing's going to change because I'm not doing anything different. I'm going to be stuck in this loop of just feeling like I'm useless, like being a waste of space, not doing anything. And so shortly after that trip, for the first time in my life, I became afraid of death. Like before, I never was. So it was like before I was living my life like, oh, I got time to figure this out. And then after that, I was living my life like, no, what I'm doing right now matters. I need to do something about it. And then so like immediately after, like I had never driven more than like 6 hours, and I was like, told my sister, I was like, I'll drive you to Atlanta, like let's go to Atlanta. I'll take you there for your basketball tournament. And so like I went all the way to Atlanta, and never driven in a big city before in my life, and I'm driving like downtown Atlanta. I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll do it. And then came back, and I was like, the whole shit with I'm not going to say her name, but, New Mexico girl. I was like, this whole big what if kind of, this big whole what if with this girl. Could we work? Could we not? I'm like, fuck it, I'm going there. I'm going to find out. Like, no more pussyfooting around this shit. Like, I'm going. So I left and I went, and then like I came back, and I had already kind of found myself a little bit, but I found myself even more after that. And so then I come back and I'm like, you know what? I'm being a bitch about all of this. I'm stuck inside my comfort zone. I'm gonna start applying for jobs for like in downtown Dallas. Let's fucking see what happens. And then like shortly after, I found a job, and I'm like, you know what? And it took me a long time to realize that maybe that's what I was drawing from the trip. But now I'm like, yeah, that's definitely what I got from it. I was stuck in this rut. I couldn't get out of it. And my brain was telling me, like, you're never going to get out of it if you don't do anything different. And I finally branched out. And it's like, here we are living in an apartment with the boys and starting a podcast and doing shit.
Man. I told you something good would come.
And it took a long time to find the good in it. But here it is. Fucking, you know what? We haven't made it, but we're doing good. We're doing a lot better.
All right. That's good to hear. I
There
didn't
we
know you
go.
felt that way about it.
Yeah, like I said, it took a lot of soul searching to kind of draw the conclusion from it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is now, that it's been a while. So,
Yeah, like with mine, like it wasn't something that was really bugging me. Like I would just be like, oh yeah, man, that was crazy. Like I saw some weird shit. I was like, I don't know what it was. But whenever I internalized what it was, I was like, holy shit, dude, the brain is fucking crazy. Like how it
yeah.
works. And like whenever you're not in control, oh my god, I was just dumbfounded with like, it's like, it's hard to put a word to it, but it was just like kind of beautiful. I was just like, holy shit, dude. I was like, things make sense. I was like the most like irrational things like make sense.
Yeah. It's just funny, man. A lot of that shit kind of puts stuff in perspective. I don't know, man. Life is short. Fucking, live the way you want to live. Like, just whatever it is you want to do it. Like,
Except heroin. Or
you shouldn't do
meth.
heroin.
Don't do those.
Do shrooms, though. Shrooms are cool.
If it's legal in your state.
Yeah. Colorado.
Try Denver. It's not legal there. It's just heavily decriminalized.
Yeah. I don't know, because that was the biggest difference. So, and it's so funny because, you know, a lot of people have like those profound moments on shrooms, right? I got mine from weed. Didn't make any fucking sense. And mine on shrooms was just like completely euphoric. It was like I remember we were cabining in Oklahoma, and that was the first like anything I had like really done. I mean I didn't start drinking until I was nearly 21, and then I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll try shrooms. Just like, okay, why not? And just I remember John and I laid out on the deck of this cabin we had rented, and we were just looking up at the stars, and the stars were like kaleidoscoping, and it was just this overwhelming sense of euphoria. And you know, at the time I wasn't like too terrified of death, but you know, who the fuck wants to die, right? But I remember in that moment just looking up like at everything, and I wasn't like, I wouldn't say I was like tripping. It was like pretty normal, but like things just looked a lot more vibrant, and I felt a lot like at peace. And I was like looking up, and I'm like, you know what? If I died right now, it wouldn't be that bad. Like, this would be a cool end. And I'm like, I'd never had that thought before in my life. I'm like, fuck death. I don't want to die. Like,
I've said the exact same thing before too. The first time, like I was just like sitting on the couch watching Alice in Wonderland with some of my friends, and I was like, I could die right now and be like 100% content with everything. That's like how at peace I felt.
Yeah, I've only ever had 2 moments in my life where I've done that, and so one was that, you know, under the influence of shrooms. The other was just I was just drunk, but I won't. I was just hammered. I was so drunk. I might have told this story on a podcast before. Actually, I don't know if I did or not. I'm drunk on every podcast, so. We had rented out I don't even want to know I don't want to tell that. It would give too much context. It was a really good night. Let's just say that. And so we were watching this game, and I remember the end of the night, like these fucking fireworks were just going off, and it was just, I just remember looking up, and because I've been talking to like everyone the whole time, and I was just having like a really good time. And I remember the fireworks just going off in the night, and everyone's like super happy, and I'm just like looking up at them like, you know what? I could probably die right now. Like I think if like, you know, those fireworks went off and then everything went to black, like just faded out, no parole, I would be I would
No parole.
Yeah, like, you know, if I'm looking on the other side afterward, I'd be like, you know what? That was a cool ending. So that, and then laying on the deck in Oklahoma. There's only 2 times I've been like, you know what? That ain't so bad. Any other time I think about it, you know, at my desk job, I'm like, please, God, don't let me die here. There's got to be something more.
Yeah, the only thing that keeps me afraid of death. The only thing that keeps me afraid of death is the thing that keeps everybody afraid of death. Not really knowing what's after this. I mean, some people have confidence that they know what's coming. I don't.
I have no confidence whatsoever.
Like,
Yeah,
as
me
our
either.
conversation earlier probably gave way, I think anything could be likely. And I don't want to loop back into a discussion about religion. I'm just making comments about life after death and if it exists.
I wanted to talk about this earlier, so go right ahead.
Okay. So, like I said before, statistically, like disregarding all scientific possibilities, whether something is scientifically possible or not, statistically, there is something after death. Like, the alternatives are endless. You've got multiple religions, multiple interpretations of each religion. You've got not even like major religions that still have some sort of life after death, and then you've got atheism / agnosticism that's got nothing. Statistically, out of everything that there is, theism is favored as an outcome as opposed to atheism. And that kind of scares me. Just based on statistics, I feel like if there's a hell in any religion, that's where I'll be. I'll be in the hell equivalent of whatever religion is correct. If that's correct.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole I don't want to go into it too much in the last one, but it's the whole like Pascal's wager thing, right? So it's like, you know what, you guys could be right about your whole being nothing bullshit, but what if we're right? You have everything to lose. And it's like, well, you know what, technically that's okay. Logistically, I guess that kind of makes sense in some regard. It's like, well, yeah, you're right. Like if on the off chance that I'm wrong, I am burning for eternity. So you're right. I guess I technically have a whole lot more to lose, but I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Because that argument can be kind of like deconstructed pretty easily, but at the same time they kind of have a point, I guess, right?
I never liked Pascal's wager because if you're in my position where no matter how hard I try, I couldn't force myself to believe in Christianity, like even if I tried to adhere to it, I would still burn in hell because I couldn't give God like a full 100% conviction that I believed in him, and therefore I'd be cast into the lake of fire. I think a Bible verse says, it might be John 3:16, but please don't quote me.
We're going to go ahead and say no. Just go ahead.
Okay, it says, for God so loved the world that whoever believed in him will not die, but will have eternal life. And then somewhere later in the Bible, it says, sin is death, and sinners will die in a lake of fire. You will go to hell as a sinner.
Huh.
And so if you extrapolate from one to the other, if you don't believe in God, you go into hell. You will be burning in a lake of fire for all eternity. It's quite terrifying.
Maybe. Or,
I like ors. Just give me something that isn't this.
what do you remember before you were born?
There we go.
No, I can't even say nothing. I don't.
Because nothing implies there's a thing to go to.
Yeah.
So when you die, I feel like the most logical thing is you go back to that state of nothing.
That would be nice.
Because you don't have a consciousness because you have yet to be created. You don't exist. And then when you die, you cease existing. So, from what I see it logically, the next thing, you would just go back to that state. But religion adds to the point where your consciousness could go to the next thing. And I'd like to believe that there's something else better than just this. Because if so, it's kind of shitty, honestly.
Yeah.
But the proof is in the pudding, all right? And I need to see the pudding.
You need to die.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, yeah, I think of all of them, most likely that's what he just said is the case. I really don't want to believe that because that fucking sucks. At the same time, it doesn't, though.
You know what's the worst thing about that, though? You can't even be pissed off about it when you die.
Well, right, because you don't know. Like, there's
You
no...
won't be.
Yeah,
You
can't be mad about it because you're not going to exist at all.
Yeah, well, it's only terrifying because you can't wrap your head around it. That's why it's terrifying. Like, when you go to sleep every night, you're not terrified of sleep. You wake up and you're like, God damn, that was great. It's from great fucking sleep I had last night. I didn't even dream.
Sleeping is just practice death. Changed my mind.
I've seen that before. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
But do you dream when you die?
No, but I don't remember my dreams.
Maybe you dream the afterlife. And it's just a constant dream state.
Yeah, I was going to ask y'all's opinions on like what happens after, but I guess that pretty much sums it up. I mean, I think we all kind of believe the same thing. I don't know. I envy religious people sometimes, like a lot. And I say this a lot. I wish I had the conviction of like, hey, when I die, like I'm going to like one or the other, or like they have a certain answer, right?
Yeah.
Because the way I live my life is that nothing really matters. 90% of the time I take that as like nothing really matters, so I need to make sure that I do what I think matters to me because that's the only thing that matters truly. But there are those days where I'm like, man, what's the fucking point? I'm just gonna go to sleep and not wake up, so why do anything? Like, I'm not gonna act like I don't feel like that sometimes, like just straight nihilistic about it. But I don't know. I really do envy religious because they don't ever have to worry about like death or if they're like truly living fulfilled lives because it's like, oh, when I die, I'm just going to heaven. So like,
Yeah.
Like I envy that. I remember when I used to think like that. Like it was very it was like an ignorance is bliss type situation because it's like I never had to burden my. Like I said, I never really worried about. I didn't care if I died until I was like 20, because I was always like, oh, I'll probably go to heaven. I'm a good person. I'll probably go to heaven, right? And then like all of a sudden I'm like 20 and I don't really believe in any of that anymore. And I'm like, man, I don't want there to be nothing. That sucks. So,
You know that. What are we in? Okay, so almost a month ago now, like I visited a grave, and I sort of believe that there isn't really anything after death. Like I think we're just there. And so when I went to the gravesite, I thought, I actually talked, and I probably for a solid hour actually. If there was anybody there, I talked to them, and I had hope upon hope just in this instant that there was something after life. And it was kind of powerful.
can you say on the podcast whose grave you went to?
Your mom's.
God damn it. Yeah, I wondered if that was the case. I do that sometimes too. I don't like going to grave sites because it's not like it bothers me. I can go to a grave site, and sometimes I do just out of like, closure type situations, but it's like I don't really see a whole lot of point to it because I view it one of two ways. If there's nothing after, she can't hear me, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If there is something after, she's definitely not there because she's literally in a whole other area, so she won't hear me. So it's like no matter what, it doesn't matter. But I don't know.
It's more for the person, though.
I guess
Like-
maybe it's like a sign of respect or.
Well, I'd say like it's just like it's the ceremonial thing of it. Like you usually like when someone like goes to like talk to someone like, or they go to like talk to like whoever like at the graveside, like it's usually it's not for them, but they need to do it. Like they need to go, like if it's like their wife or something or like their mom, like they want to go and talk to her because it's gonna make them feel better. Like they're not like just going there and be like, hey mom, I got my laundry done today, cleaned the house or something. Like they're usually going there because they need to like tell them something, but it's like it's more for the self than it is, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
Yeah, I see what
for
you're
sure.
saying.
Yeah, but I guess I've just never really been to that point where I'm like, man, I need to go out there. Like I could probably never go out there again and be like fine with it. Yeah, no, that sucks.
Yeah, there is a deep hope inside of me that, your mom included, that some people are just sitting there watching over us, as improbable and as against everything that I believe in that might be. Like I have this hope. She's just out there.
Yeah. No, I mean I have a lot of hope.
I'm not saying you don't, but
yeah,
it's just,
well, in general, like, not even relating to my mom, I hope there's something more. I want to believe that all of this is for something, right?
Yeah.
It's not just like because we live our lives in such shrouded mystery of what the fuck are we even doing here. It's like, hopefully at the end we get it. Like in some regard, it's like, what was it? It was from fucking Big Mouth, right? Like the ghost is like floating around in the room, and he's like, yeah, you stumble through life, and like you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And then right there at the end, you're like, I get it, and then you die, and it's like,
Fucked.
yeah, it's like I think probably for a lot of people that's what happens. Like as you're sitting there on your deathbed, you're like, I finally understood what this was all about. Right there at the end, like you finally understand like how you were supposed to live your life, or maybe like what is the true purpose of your life, and you get it right there is like you have no more time left. You're like, motherfucker, like why couldn't I understand that like a long time ago? I feel like that happens a lot. I don't know. Let's hope I get it before I'm 80.
Yeah.
or like in a horrific car accident or some shit.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought. Like you said, hope I get it before I'm 80, and immediately I thought, am I going to live to 80? I'll probably die in a car crash. And then you said, I'll probably die in a horrific car crash, and I thought,
Get
bro.
out of my head.
Yeah. All right, so we're nearing our mark. So why don't we end this on like a funny story or something?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was like, we're probably gonna get close to cutting it, and this is gonna be the most depressing ending.
Yeah.
I just start sobbing. I'm like, oh my god. So final story. Let's tell the story on the fucking wine bottle. How do we want to? Do you want? I don't know. We were talking about it earlier.
One of you guys should do it, because it's not my wine bottle. It's not my story.
Oh well, it was funnier when we first brought it up.
Nothing's funny now.
Yeah, we fucked this up.
We went too philosophical and deep.
Yeah. Anyone got anything funny we can bring up?
I could tell you about
My life.
my
One
life
big
is a
joke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
So, a couple of weeks back, I went to Best Buy to grab some speakers for my car with Chris. Chris actually paid for them. I was scheduled
What a
to
swell
do.
fella.
Yeah, I know. He's a fantastic brother.
I hate Chris.
Yeah, all
I
right.
love Chris.
Yeah, I get both reactions. But there's a laugh. So we went to B-Dubs, Buffalo Wild Wings. I'd never been. And so I order my wings, and I'm like, oh, shit. Like, my
What flavor
appointment's
did you
in
get?
10 minutes. I got the spicy buffalo because I was told it had some garlic in it. And then I also got the mango habanero,
Ooh,
the
good,
second from the top.
good choice.
And then Chris got the top, like the buffalo, the wild,
Blazin'.
the blazing. That's what it is. And I tell you, I tried his wings, and I was like, holy shit, like I can't do this. So I had one of them, and then all the wings of mine that touched the test wings, I'd never touched.
Oh my god.
But the thing is, like, we went to B-Dubs. But the thing that I thought was sort of funny was that we sat down and shit, and then I had to go to my car appointment. I had to put my car,
To get the speakers installed.
to get the speakers installed. So 1 o'clock, I'm sitting there. I'm like, hey guys, where's the guy who's supposed to be installing my speakers? Well, the guy got trapped in an elevator, like at his apartment, and so I was waiting on him. And so while I was doing that, Chris was at B-Dubs. And our server was like, did that guy ditch you? And Chris was like, nah, he's just getting speakers. And the waiter was like, okay.
I smell bullshit.
And so I came back, and the waiter looks at me, and he's like, hey. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm back. He's like, okay. And so we end up eating our wings, burning our mouths.
Did you get your speakers?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, they are marvelous. If I have to plug anything, I will recommend Kenwood speakers.
Mine
For sure.
Mine blow out all the time.
Yours? You
Yeah.
have Kenwoods?
Yes, I do. Well, okay, subwoofers, but
Mm.
yeah. I've literally had like 3 sets that have blown out, like respectively. I need to stop buying them. Don't get subwoofers.
But they're speakers. Choice.
Yeah, apparently the speakers. I'm gonna tell the wine bottle story. So
Okay, cool.
we have this fucking wine bottle on the wall.
Hold on, I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah, it's like it's a shitty cheap wine from like Walmart or Target or something. I can't remember. Yeah, it's like just a Josh bought. I've never had it. So I went on a date like a while back, probably about a year or so ago, and the chick was like, "Hey, I like red wine." I'm like, "All right, cool. I guess I'll pick up some wine." I don't know. So I pick up that fucking bottle, and that was supposed to be kind of like ending of the night type deal. And so end of the night comes, she's like, "Hey, I'm bailing," and I'm like, "That's awesome, great."
Ooh.
And so I'm like, "What am I gonna do with this wine bottle now?" So I'm like, "Do I drink it?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know if we're gonna go on another date or something. Maybe she wasn't like fucking around." No, she was fucking around. And so I'm like, "Okay, whatever. I'll keep the wine bottle, and like we'll see what happens with that." So we move into our apartment complex like months later, and I'm like, and so I put it up there, and then eventually it became like a running joke in the apartment where it was like, All right. Well, this was meant for me to, get laid on, and that didn't happen. So now, first person to bring a chick into the apartment and get laid gets the wine bottle. It has dust on it now.
How long has it been?
It's enough for dust to collect.
Like, I'm surprised. Like, the three of you guys combined could probably pull.
I choose not, I choose not to pull because most women my age are dumb little B words. Pardon my French.
Wow. Yeah, no, I don't really. I'm not gonna make excuses for myself.
I'm about ready to just score a dirt leg so I can drink the wine and have the crown.
Jesus. Yeah. So we, it's been sitting there. I noticed it had dust today, and I got a little sad.
Well, we can go knock some boots, you and me in my bedroom. We can finish off that baby if you want.
All right, guys, this has been the Modern Goonies podcast. I'm your host, Trevor King Minor. This is Michael. This is my good friend Chandler, and we're going to finish this wine. So you know what? Tune in for the next episode, which is whenever.
Ask about the wine.
Don't ask about the wine. Goodbye.